All right, guys, it's that time of week again. We hope you all enjoyed the holiday season, but it is time for the NHL Power Rankings Week 12. Jaden, get us started with your 32, please.
32, no movement, Chicago.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see him here, but
Yeah,
it's fair.
they've been here for a while now. Like a decent competitive week. Lose to Philly, shootout win against Dallas. Um, but it's just been too poor for too long that it's going to take quite a bit to come out of here and show consistency. Um, and some of the teams above them at the bottom end of this table had really good weeks as well. So it was hard to
Mhm.
move them completely. Yeah. But they were what
Yeah, no,
two and eight in
that's
their
fair.
last 10 still, even though they were competitive this week.
Yeah, it's rough. Look, I can see them bouncing back. I don't know if they stay here this whole time, but for now, it's where they go. Number 31, though, if I click on the right sheet, it would be nice. I have a new 31, and that's a team that I did not expect to see down here, Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ooh, I'm having to
Mm.
look where they are. They're 27 for me.
Oh, you moved up on them.
I did.
Damn, son. Damn. Nah,
Yes.
look, I just haven't liked the play lately. I just don't think they're getting it together at all. And yeah, just the week wasn't overly bad. They didn't really move down to 31 because of their poor play. They moved down because the team I had at 31 has actually played quite well in the last 3 or 4 games.
Mm,
So they moved up one. But I'm just not liking what I'm seeing from the Blue Jackets. I expected a lot more than what
yeah.
they're currently producing.
Well, they only played the one game this week, and it was a win
Mm,
against LA 3-1. But that was the only game
yeah,
this week.
and
So
that's what I mean.
it's not much to go on.
Like I,
They moved for me purely because a couple of the other teams I have not liked. But we will
yeah.
get to them shortly, I'm sure, because one of mine at my 31, I did not expect this team to be here. Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, see, they almost were my 31, but they're my 30.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy turnaround over not
Ugly.
even a 12 month period. OT lost to Utah,
Hmm.
and the OT lost to the Wild. So they were competitive against the Wild. They get 2 points, like 500 in regards to the points, but it's just been too poor for too long. 253 in the last 10. Uh, like they're well in the negative territory in regards to wins, losses now. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I do think that they're still one of my favorites in this bottom end to bounce out of here, but I'm losing faith.
Yeah, look, the reason why I was so I just you said like it's been a bad turnaround over 12 months, right? Well, not even 12 months. It's barely been 5 weeks. Like I think everyone forgets they started the season off 9-3.
Yeah,
9-3, Jaden. 9-3. Like this wasn't a out of sort of like, oh, they've just had a bad season. They were in red hot form to start the season. They started 9-3, and they are now whatever their record is now. What is their record now?
15,
Bloody
15, 17,
50.
something.
Oh, so they have lost 18 games and only won six. They're 6-18 in their last 24.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is one hell of a turnaround.
yeah, it's it ugly. It ugly.
Mm. Oh, a bit. It's very ugly. All right, but my 29, a team that had a good week, but I still am a bit shaky on, Seattle Kraken. They won three in a row. So
My 28.
28, yeah. Like, look, good 3 game winning streak. You like to see it. It's what you want to see from them. Their week, as I said, was good. I think they only played the 2 games this week, but 3-1 win against the Ducks, 3-2 win against the Kings. And they didn't play when they returned today, so I think they play tomorrow. Um, good win. They come up against two teams who are currently facing a slide, but they're still two pretty decent sides. So to get the win on the back to back as well, that's solid. It's what you want to see from them. But I I still think this is where the Kraken are going to spend the rest of the season. Basically, I don't see them coming back from it. I don't
Yep.
think they have the firepower.
Alrighty. On to my 30. I went a little bit hard on this team in a sense, not too hard. It's not too many moves. I St. Louis Blues.
Oh,
I went. Yeah, it's not a team you're
oh,
probably thinking I'm talking
okay.
about.
Oh, I thought it was another team that you were going on. St. Louis actually moved up one for me, but like it
Yeah,
was
it.
more because of other teams.
Yeah, I understand it. It's just I don't know. Sometimes it's like my gut feeling on how I keep seeing a team perform week in week
Hmm.
out. When other teams do well, they do alright or whatnot. Obviously, getting the one win against Nashville, one loss against St. Louis, with a very low shooting game in not St. Louis. Sorry, that was Tampa. Um,
Mm,
but it. I don't know. I'm just never convinced by their play, and I'm just more convinced by the other teams that are above them right now. Um, but
hmm,
it's very
hmm.
close. But that's why I've moved. It's not really uh on them too much. Just other teams are performing. I feel like just slightly a little bit better. I'm more afraid of them
Yeah,
than St. Louis, even though they do have an alright record of like 5-4-1 or something. Um, so like
yeah,
500, basically 500.
yeah. I mean, they're 15 and 24 in wins and losses as well. So they have been a sort of
Yeah,
OT merchant. They
yeah.
got
They have
eight OT losses already.
the same wins as Winnipeg, Vancouver, um, Columbus, as we mentioned,
Well,
and Seattle.
basically, the only team they have more wins than is Chicago.
Yeah,
And then they're even with, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Kraken, Columbus. Like they deserve to be down here. So yeah, I get it. All right, my 28. I have the Vancouver Canucks.
my 26.
How's that crash back down to earth for you?
It was coming at some
Like
point.
it's just one of those things, right? Like, um, a big trade happens like that where they trade out a star player and the team gets all of this energy and they go on a run, they win 3 or 4 games in a row, and then reality comes back and hits. And I think that is what's happening here. Like I know they played they played a decent side in Philly, and then they played that, a young San Jose who can just turn it on. You could get a young, inexperienced San Jose that shit the bed, or you could get a young, fast, experienced team that just takes you to the cleaners. And they unfortunately got the latter. But I do expect that the Canucks, like that 4 game winning streak that we saw straight from trading Quinn, I think that was just a big burst from that trade. I don't expect that that's what we're going to see going forward.
Yeah. All right. My 29. I don't think I have to look at it, but I'll just double confirm. It is the Pittsburgh Penguins on a big slide.
Yeah, I don't need to look. Mine 27.
Yeah, just a big slide. I still don't think they're playing too bad, but this is finally got the break that I mentioned last week. So they haven't played a game since the break. So we'll see what type of team comes out
Hmm.
after this. But shootout win against Montreal, 6-3 loss against Toronto. Conceding too many goals is the big trope there. It's
Yeah.
basically 9 goals in 2 games, and
Hmm.
yeah, they seem to be what they were just seeming to find ways to lose. I'm interested just to
Yeah.
see what different type of team, if we get one, comes out after this break, because I do think we're going to get a different one and they're going to move back up. Because I do think they got scheduled, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, 1-5-4 in their last 10. They do only have a -9 goal differential. So it is interesting. Like it's not like they're getting blown out. Um, but in
They're
saying
having
that, they are
four
also,
3 goal leads and then blowing it and losing in OT. That's what they've been doing.
yeah. Well, and that's the big thing. They're OT merchants. They've already got 9 OT losses this season. Um, we just said 15 wins is only the only one below that is Chicago with 14. So they've got the equal second least amount of goals scored. That's sorry, games won. Yeah, like I can see them turning around. I agree with you. I think they're playing better, but God, it hasn't looked good lately. All right, 25 for me. I have the Utah Mammoth.
Utah, 25 for me.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about them since they started off like a bullet out of the gate? Like they were so good to start the season. They've been so disappointing since, and their week wasn't terrible. 4-3 win against the Jets. They should probably be winning that with how the Jets have been playing, and then a 1-0 loss against Colorado, which I mean, keeping Colorado to one goal is a feat at the moment. So. That's not a terrible game. They were in the game the whole time. So yeah, look, a good week for them, but I just I don't I'm not enjoying watching Mammoth at the moment. I'm not they were so exciting to start the season, but now I'm losing faith that what we saw at the start of the season was the true Mammoth, and I feel like this what we've seen lately is what the Mammoth are, and I feel like they're going to be stuck down this end for most of the season.
Alrighty. On to 24 for me. I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. Moving up four, just scooting on, and
Yeah, they're my 22.
like they start out losing to Dallas. They go and beat Pittsburgh, and then they go and beat Ottawa 7-5. They're scoring a lot, but they're conceding a lot. And well, at least scoring the last two games a lot, but they're conceding a lot
Yeah.
in every game, and that's my big concern. They've got big holes. Move up four for me, just because they're looking better, but I'm not high as 22 or more because I still not
Mm-hmm.
convinced with it at all. Um, it yeah,
Yeah.
like it just looks horrible in some scenarios, and I do think I don't I think it's going to stay around this like 20 mark or lower. I can't see them going on a run personally. They could do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see it. And look, the two wins they get this week are against easier opponents, Pittsburgh and Ottawa. Obviously, Pittsburgh on the slide. They were somewhat competitive against Dallas at some points, but then just like they fell apart at the same time. And that seems to be the thing they
Yeah.
keep doing is like not having heart. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit lower on them. But they move up four for me and don't move for you. So it's interesting.
Yeah, you went hard on them last week. I feel like a lot harder than I did. And I think they obviously had a bit of a course correction with a couple of wins this week. But I agree with everything you said there around Toronto. All right, 23 for me. I've got the Calgary. I'm 24. Hang on, Nashville Predators at 24.
And my
Whew.
23. My 23.
You're 23. There you go. Yeah, look, I mean, what can you say about the Preds? Like they've been good
Yeah,
for like yeah, like the last 4 or 5 weeks. They started the season off so poorly it wasn't funny, but lately they've been a great side. Feel like they've been the side that they should have been last year and this year. They've finally sort of clicked a little bit and they're getting it to go their way. Because you look at the teams they played this week, New York Rangers 2-1 win. Rangers, although they've been shaky this season, they're no easy beats. Minnesota Wild 3-2. Minnesota are one of the best teams in the league at the moment, and then they obviously have the 2-3 loss against St. Louis Blues, but they outshot them heavily. They were in the game. They probably outplayed the Blues, but they just don't get it done. It happens. But yeah, like they're just playing good hockey at the moment, and I haven't moved on them too fast because of how bad their start was, but I tell you what, if they keep going 6-4, 7-3 over the last 10 consecutive, we might see them move into get very close to the top 16.
yeah. Yeah, they've been one of the most consistent teams for the last like month or so. Every game seems to be competitive from them, despite results or what they get.
Mhm.
Moving on to 22. Nick leaked it. Here's Calgary. Ooh.
Calgary at 23.
Um, yeah, so this team only versed Edmonton this week two
Mhm,
times. Lost 5-1, then beat them today 3-2. Couldn't really move them on that. They have been like Nashville, one of the informed teams, but it's just been such a
mhm,
horrible start. It's hard to keep keep moving on up. They're still below
mhm.
500 in points percentage, 7-3 in last 10, but looking good. And like Nashville, they seem to be competitive in every game. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it won't take much to move on up if they continue on this streak, but it's going to be hard.
No, and I think the reason why we've both been hesitant on moving up on them is it's not just they were down the bottom of the standings, it's their play was horrendous to start the season. The Preds and the Flames were shocking. Like it was so bad, it was horrible to watch. We were like, well, these two are clearly going
Yeah,
to be one of the
I'm still
two of the
scarred from
worst teams.
watching Minnesota versus Calgary. I'm still scarred by
It's exactly. So
that.
you don't want to move on them too quickly because you know what they can produce. So it's like, yeah, well, yeah, PTSD there. But all right, 21 for me. I've got the San Jose Sharks.
Yep, same thing.
They ain't leaving, bro. They ain't leaving. They ain't going back to the bottom three. They ain't doing it. Um, yeah, like, look, man, I kind of expected potentially a Chicago situation where, they show what's to come and then they fall back into that sort of bottom three, bottom five sort of thing. But the Sharks are just they want to hang around. Like I was saying before, that you've got two sides that you can get from them. You can get the inexperienced night off where they get smacked, like they did this week, 2-7 against Vegas, or then they come out and they beat Vancouver Canucks 6-3. Um, they're just one of those teams. They're exciting to watch. And I think there's some really good things to come from this team.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the next 5 to 10 years of this Sharks team.
Alrighty. Moving on to the top 20. Team moving outside the top 16 for me. LA Kings at 20.
Ooh, they're my 19.
And yeah, so 3 games this week for LA. Lose to Columbus on a back-to-back. Lose to Seattle, and then beat Anaheim 6-1. It's they're always consistently in the game, no matter what. But they've got some like little gaping holes in how they are. They are kind of OT merchants in regards to points wise as well. 4-4-2 in last 10. I am not convinced with them. I had them at
Mhm.
19, was shaking them between 19 and 20. I finally decided with 20 just because I feel like they've been shakier for longer. Um, and so that's why I
Yeah,
made that move.
yeah. No, I agree with you on that. They showed great potential. They showed kings of the last couple of years, and then they just capitulate. And I don't know which one's the real kings at the moment.
Hmm.
All right, at 20 for me, I've got the New York Rangers. Talking about a team that you can't really get a read on.
Uh,
Um,
18 for me.
18. Yeah, look, every time I feel like I might have them in my top 16 for the first time this year, they just kind of have a backwards step. They lose 1-2 to Nashville. They win 7-3 against the Washington Capitals, and then they get shut out for the eighth time this season. 8 times in 40 games, just a casual 20% shutout ratio. I thought I'd throw that in there. Um, by the New York Islanders today. So, yeah, look, I mean, it's hard. Like I just don't feel like this is the New York Rangers of, the last 5 years. There's clearly something that's not
Nah.
clicking. I feel like if they didn't have Shesterkin, their season would be a lot worse than
Well,
what it
you
is.
say that, but if you're not scoring goals right, you may as well just play with 6 skaters. try and score a goal because that's the only way you can win, right? Unless you're trying to get like
What?
a zero
Yeah.
zero tie game go to shootout. But yeah, I know. I was thinking about
So
that. Like
yeah, I
20% of their games they should be playing without a goalie and playing six skaters.
yeah, I agree with you. Like it's you have to score to win, but like if it wasn't for Shesterkin, some of these games
Oh
could
yeah.
end 5-6, 7-0, 7-1. Like he's yeah, him and Quick, because Quick's playing quite well as well. But like yeah, like I don't understand how this team that has a bunch of superstars that can score. Oh wait, no, they traded all of those guys, didn't
Yeah.
they? Kreider's
Yeah.
gone. Like
Yeah.
forgot about that. They
Kako.
traded Kreider, who scored 40 odd goals.
Kreider,
Capo
Kako,
Caco's gone. Truba's gone. Like,
Truba is
oh,
another one. Yeah.
they were the problem though, Jaden. They were the
Oh
problem.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. It's like Mana at Toronto. He was the problem.
Yeah,
No,
but
he's
yeah. Like,
not. Doing
I
drive-bys
just
on
don't know where
teams,
this
making a
team's going.
play, blaming a few players for obviously team issues. On
Yeah.
to 19 for me, moving out the top 16 again. New Jersey Devils. This team is, I don't know,
Seven.
it's the team's a top 10 team, but then they're also a bottom 10 team in regards to they're their own worst enemy. They
Mm-hmm.
they're outplaying their opponents 90% of the time. It doesn't matter who it is, but then 3 4 mistakes and it's open nets for the other opponent. That's all
Yep.
the New Jersey do, and they got issues scoring. um Brat puts in two today, finally gets some goals going, but it's still not good enough. They lose all 3 games this week. uh
Mm-hmm.
Sabres, Islanders, and Washington in OT. Two of those being division rivals, so those are bad losses. um yeah, his
And then a
team's,
conference rival, wild
yeah,
card rival as well.
in a
Like,
wild card
it's yeah.
rival. So all really 3 important games. They lose them all. They have problems scoring. They try and pass the puck into the net, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can see him turning it around because it's not hard to clean up those silly mistakes, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just one trade, or someone just goes on a run that starts scoring for him. But it's not going to take much for them to get back in there. But they are sliding. They are not
Mm-hmm.
OT merchants in regards to they get points by losing an OT. So they're gonna
No,
get. They need the wins.
no, because like against the Islanders this week, they always concede with a minute to go instead of taking it to overtime.
Yes. Well, they
Um,
conceded with like less
yeah.
than a second against Washington in the first. So yeah, like if you're reversing the Devils last minute, let them have the puck and they'll make a mistake and you can score. That's the
Oh,
that's the way to
if
go
you're
about it.
versing the Devils, I said this to you earlier. If you're versing the Devils, you just play defensive hockey and wait. Be patient and wait because the Devils will do something stupid and then you just have to pounce. And that is your whole game plan. Just just play defensive, block them out, and then when they make a mistake, take your
and
opportunity
and
because
then
they will. They'll give you an open net.
I could just see him a meme on the
Like they will.
goaltender, the New Jersey Devils goaltender, like, oh, here we go again, like, like every time.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But
All right.
all right, on to 18. I have the Ottawa Senators.
My 17.
Nice. Yeah, I don't mind what the Senators are doing at the moment, but they're just I don't know, they're just inconsistent. And I feel like with Brady sort of back, I know they had a bit of a slump when he came back, but I feel like with Brady back, they're gonna get it going at some point. But I have found them to be extremely inconsistent this season. Um, and I mean, they get a 6-2 win against Boston this week, 2-3 loss, OT loss against the Sabres, and then a 5-7 loss against the Leafs. They go 500. It pretty much sums up Ottawa
Yeah.
this season.
The Toronto, like conceding 7, it never looks good. No matter how many goals you
No.
put in, if you lose that game, it
Yeah.
still doesn't look good. So that
No.
was the glaring hole that doesn't push them in the top 16 for me. If they did better in that game, even still losing, but just being, like a 1-0 loss or something, um,
Mm,
I could have possibly had them in my top 16.
mm,
Um, because speaking of 16th, sliding almost out, Boston Bruins.
Yeah, I've got them there as well.
And look, this team's like New Jersey, and Winnipeg. They are not OT merchants, so when they lose, they slide down the standings pretty quickly. Um,
Hmm.
they play 3 games just like New Jersey, lose all three. 6-2 to Ottawa, 6-2 to Montreal, and then a 4-1 to Buffalo. No OT points. Too many goals conceded. What's that? 16 goals in 3 games. It's just too much. I don't think they're that bad. Like this type of week is what they are, but it is a trajectory that's not great. The last 10, 4-5-1, and like I said, what's crazy? They are more wins than losses. But teams around them have more losses than wins. But because of
Yeah,
OT merchants, they're in the same ballpark area. So yeah, something needs to be done with the point structure for teams like this. But
yeah.
yeah, they're depending on a slight slide. Boston.
Well, because that's the interesting thing, right? Is you take three, well, even the three losses this week, and you make them OT losses, they are 12th,
Mm,
but instead they're 20th right now. That's how tight the race with this standings are. Like, you're talking about a team that's sitting 20th at the moment is only 3 points out of 12th.
mm.
Like that's a big jump for only minimal amount of points. Like, you go one better, go 4 points, and they're now seventh. 4 points and they'd be seventh right now.
Yeah,
Like that's how close these standings are. So, like you have a bad week and you can go from being top 10, you're doing really good, to being out of the playoffs. That's how tight this season is, and it just shows like every week is going to be crucial.
mm. Yeah, I agree.
All right, on to 15. I have the Edmonton Oilers.
14.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't know where I sit on the Oilers comeback train just yet. They're obviously good, 6-3-1 in their last 10. They got I think they went 2-1 this week with the 4-3 win against Vegas, 5-1 win against the Flames, and then a 2-3 loss against the Flames today. But yeah, like I said, I just don't know that I am convinced. Like they had some crazy stat where they were 4-0 with goaltenders that weren't named Pickett or Skinner. Um, but I don't know where I sit on this team
Nah.
just yet. Like I think with McDavid and Draisaitl, like they're gonna make the playoffs, and once they're there, who knows? But I'm still not convinced that they're good to go. Bouchard is still just a defensive liability, no matter how good his offensive production is. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't see it as a winning product, like a winning team.
yeah. McDavid's really trying to will this team across. I think he had like 31, 33 points in like 11 games or something stupid. Um,
It's almost 3 points a game or some
yeah,
shit. Like it's insane.
he's on he was on track for like 130 points or something. He is willing this team along, almost single handedly. All 3 games were division rival um games, so all important games. Uh, 4 out of 6, really good. But it is the Pacific, first thing the Pacific, and it's the weakest division. It's hard to gauge sometimes on
Yeah.
when teams get more easier games than other teams based on division, which doesn't get talked about enough. So it can kind of skew point standings in a sense. They are on a bounce back though, but like you, I am not fully convinced. On to 15 for me, another Canadian team, Montreal.
Yep. They're 14 for me.
And they don't move for me. So shootout loss to Pittsburgh. They beat Boston 6-2, and that was their week. Decent. I'm still not convinced with them, and both those teams they versed seem to be on slides. So I'm not fully convinced. I couldn't move them up. I think Edmonton's
Hmm.
slightly. better form, even though they've got their gaping holes as well. So yeah, it these top start of the top 16 isn't convincing.
Honestly, like probably even a couple of teams in the side, the top 10 aren't convincing at this point, man.
Yeah,
Like I
which
feel
which is
like
which is good
I
because it
feel
means
like
the season's been competitive no matter who's coming up against
competitive.
who.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, they haven't shown up yet, but Buffalo at 23 for both of us last week aren't even on our list yet because they've obviously been on a run. They were dead to rights a few weeks back, and now that they're in the playoffs, like it's insane how close this season is. All right, moving on to 13, a team on a bit of a slide, the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, look, I think we've been saying this every week for the last probably 3 weeks now, maybe longer. But the Ducks are on a slide,
Yeah,
and it's not good. Um, they
four five
lose
one.
1-3 to Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lose 1-3. But I think it's not just the 4-5-1 in this last 10. I think it's that 4-5-1 is probably over the
No,
last
it's been
15 to
it's been
20
like
games.
it's like 5-5 and stuff. It's been
Mm.
very consistently around that ballpark. Yep.
Yeah, we haven't seen them well and truly above 500 for a while. But yeah, they lose 1-6 to the Los Angeles Kings today as well. Only score 2 goals for the week and conceding 9. I yeah, for me, man, like they aren't the team that they were 3-4 weeks ago.
Mm.
They've regressed a little bit. Now, like the Sharks and the Blackhawks,
I
they're
was
obviously a
I
team
was
that
gonna
is,
bring the same thing up.
yeah,
Wow,
right.
I was gonna bring the same thing up.
They are a team that has been down the bottom five for a while now, and it does make sense for them to have a bit of a regression. I don't think their regression will be as bad as the Sharks or the Blackhawks, but yeah, I think this is a natural thing that's happening to them at the moment, and I think they're gonna push down to that wild card race, which is probably where we saw them at the start of the season.
Yeah, they're saving graces there in the Pacific, so hopefully they can feed being in the Pacific.
Jaden and his hatred for the Pacific.
Well, it. Oh, I'll just let the standings show show that. I don't think I need to comment. Moving on
Yep.
to my
Fair call.
13, I have a Washington, uh, an Eastern team on a
They
slide,
are they are my 12.
and OT lost to Detroit, a 7-3 loss to the Rangers, and then an OT win against Devils, which honestly they did not deserve because they didn't really play well. Um,
No.
all of their goals was literally Devils just failing for like a brief second, and they had open nets. So it was kind of
Yeah.
they got dominated for 99% of it, but New Jersey gave them 4 goals. That's pretty much how that game went, and that's kind of how I feel like they've been. They are
Mhm.
starting like you always like physical and slow was always kind of like the Washington thing. They've been fast with the puck movement, which is good, but I've just started to
Mm.
notice they look slower. Um, they've started to look
Yeah.
slower, and when you start to look slow, that's generally when you start regressing and looking bad. And they have a bad last 10 as well, obviously 3-4-3. Um, getting some OT points, which makes it look a little bit better. But it's
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not convinced as I was when they were doing that fast puck moving and looking fast. But Chikrin's
Yeah.
honestly, what a guy! That guy is insane right now. What a season!
Chikrin's gonna Chikrin's he's
He's
got
got more goals
almost
than like
20 goals.
Brat and some other forwards. Like, like he.
He's yeah, he's on some absolute heater. Like he's on pace for almost a 40 goal season as a defender.
Mm,
Like in that's just stupid. He has 15 goals
mm,
on the season, but that's still like that's he's on pace for over 30 goals
yeah.
for a
I'm not
defender.
sure why people
That's
gave up with him because
unreal.
I always thought he was really good. Like there was a few
Um,
seasons where he was like, oh yeah, nah, but I always thought he had it in him. So
So I
I'm glad he had a
so
bounce back.
Ottawa moved on from him because he was out of sorry, Arizona moved on from him because he was out of contract.
Yeah,
He wanted
yeah, no.
out of
I'm just
that.
talking about like when news outlets and all that, like they were just saying
Mm,
he's slightly not what he used to be or stuff like that. And I'm like,
yeah.
no, I see it. It's there. And obviously he's shown
Hey,
it.
he's an insane player. Like he's unbelievable. His offensive ability, and he can defend as well. I actually thought it would work out so much better for the Ottawa Senators when they got him, than it did.
Yeah,
But ultimately, he goes to the Capitals, and he's absolutely lighting it up there. So,
yeah. It probably speaks more
all
to
right,
Ottawa and how they are.
Ottawa's defensive structure. Yeah, I know, right? All right. Well, Buffalo fans, I know you've obviously been waiting to see where you'd fall, but 11 for
Well,
me. I
full.
just
I think they climbed.
sorry, sorry. Yes, where they climbed. Um, yeah, look, I mean, I could have had them in my top 10 to be honest with you, with some of the teams that are still to come. I think they are looking absolutely incredible at the moment. They're doing fantastic things. Um, this week was, no exception. 3-1 win against the Devils, keeping them only to one goal. 3-2 OT win against the Senators, and a 4-1 win today against the Boston Bruins. So, again, all three teams in the Eastern Conference they played this week. Two of them are in the Atlantic Division with them, and they get the wins against all three. Like they're on a heater at the moment, man, and I don't know what's gone on with them, what's changed, but they've finally got that energy. Like we've always said, they've got the talent. They just need to put it on the actual ice, and they're finally doing it.
Yeah, finally being consistent, which they haven't done for a while, is get 2 weeks or more on a big run, and obviously they
Mhm.
are on a huge tear at the moment. So definitely top 10 bound next week if form continues. That is for sure. Onto the top 10, Vegas Golden Knights rounding out my top 10.
Vegas Golden Knights. They are. Oh, where are they for me? They are 9 for me.
Wow, you had to look one spot above. Um, get him glasses,
I did.
boys. But no. So look, they lose to the Oilers. They beat the Sharks 7-2, and then they lose in shootout to Colorado. Um, they are. I'm still not convinced with them. They're 5-2-3 in the last 10. They're competitive, but they are 17-19 in regards to wins slash losses. They are below 500 in
Yeah.
regards to wins slash losses, and look where Boston is, and they are above 500 in regards to that. They are just clearly OT merchants. It will get them
Mhm.
playoffs. I still think they're honestly my favorite for playoffs still. Um, Granted, how the other ones are because I think they will just perform in playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just one of those things where they've got some holes that they have to patch up. They there's- they're consistent, but yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, 17 and 19 in a win-loss record is pretty evident. They can't get it done in regulation. The good thing for them is that obviously playoffs don't have 3-on-3 overtime, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you want to see them get the job done in regulation. Like
Yeah,
there's because I tell you right now, if they go to overtime as much as they have this season in the playoffs, they're going to be burnt out by the second round.
yeah,
Like, like it's not a winning recipe going to overtime all the time. Like you need to actually be able to get the job done in regulation, and that's just something they haven't been able to do this season. All right, number 10 for me, I have the Philadelphia Flyers.
none.
Um, if you were to tell me that the Philadelphia Flyers were still going to be in the top three of the Metro this deep into the season, I would not have believed you. Uh, It's yeah, it's crazy. I still don't think their team is good enough to be where it is, but it is.
Mm,
It's not much else you can do about it. Like they get a 5-2 win against the Canucks and then a 3-1 win on a back-to-back against the Chicago Blackhawks. And they didn't play today, so just the two games, the two wins.
yeah,
I don't know what else to
easy
say about
opponent,
this team.
easy opponents. So an easier week. Granted,
Yeah,
back to back was in there, but I still think they're one of the best teams in the league in regards to playing their style and then forcing the opponents to
defensive structure.
play their
Yeah.
style. So I think it's a well coached team and well played team in a sense that they play to the system.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what impresses me the most about them, and it's why it can last for so long. As long as you keep playing, going through those routines, then it's going to work.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they're not the flashiest. They're, they're not going to be doing McDavid and go flashy on anything, but they're going to grind you down. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what impresses me. That's why they're in my top 10. And they can just continue to be consistent. They don't have a good last 10, which is crazy, 4-2-4, but it is slightly becoming OT merchant territory as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of the average is around 7 8, and they got 7, but they're getting up there
Yeah.
already. On to 8, Detroit Red Wings. This is a surprise.
They are my 7, but yes.
Yeah, surprised is just. I feel like they're like Ottawa in a sense. Like they've always been flip flop for so many years, and it's good to see them finally not flopping and just flipping,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
So OT win against Washington, OT win against Dallas, and then losing to Carolina. They've been competitive. That's three hard teams. Getting 4 out of 6 points is really good. Obviously, two of those games are really like draws, and then they're just getting the extra point. But they were
Hmm.
competitive in those games. They're on a essentially like a heater in a sense. They're 7-3 in the last 10. Um, they've won 22 games and only lost 17, so they've got a good plus
Hmm.
minus in regards to wins losses overall. Only +3 in OT loss points, so that is hurting them in regards to point standings. Just not losing enough in OT shootout, which is a weird thing to say. Like lose more in OT shootout, but
Yep.
yeah, if you're going to lose, that's how you want to do it. But no, I'm impressed with them.
Ah,
They're finally
100%.
consistent, finally being consistent.
When was the last time you saw the top of a division with a negative goal difference?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. It's
Yeah.
probably in the Pacific. Then again, they feed on the bottom end teams, so probably not.
Hang on. Hang on. Oh, if the Ducks were top, they would also be a negative goal difference, right?
Well, they were at
And
one point,
they're only 1 point off. They were, yeah.
right?
So yeah, it probably was this season with the Ducks at the top. But yeah, look, it's interesting. Detroit, I just think have been doing their thing quietly. They've been consistent. Their lulls haven't been as deep as what they have been in previous seasons, which is the reason why they're still up in the top of the Atlantic. So it's good to see. All right, the eighth for me is a team absolutely flying back at the right time of the year before it got away from them, the Florida Panthers.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, look, I was worried for them for a little bit there. I thought the season was going to get away from them, but they have turned it around at the perfect time. Not the greatest week, but not a terrible week either. 5-2 win against Carolina and then a 2-4 loss against Tampa Bay, but it was a very good game against Tampa. And, it's also an extremely difficult opponent in Tampa. They're in a wild card spot at the moment, and considering where they were a couple of weeks ago, um, yeah, like it's a lot of positive going on for Florida at the moment, and that's what's scary about it, because all this team needs to do is make the playoffs, and they could do a three-peat.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, we'll hope. They could bounce back, but we were thinking maybe like a wild card run at the end of the season. But it
Mm,
looks like it's come a little bit early. But we'll have to see. It's a close season. It really, if you go cold for too long, you could easily find yourself out. But
mhm.
on to number 6 for me. Their competitors, team they versed this week, Tampa Bay.
Ooh. Yeah, they're my 5.
And yeah, so they beat St. Louis. Then obviously they came against Florida, as we just mentioned, and beat them there. So the 2 games, 2 victories, 5-4-1 last 10. They won the last 3 games. Even in their losses, they're strong. Third in the league in goal differential, besides Colorado and Dallas, who we have not mentioned yet. So they're definitely in that upper echelons conversations. It's crazy that both Tampa and Florida are still here after 4 cups between
Mhm.
them. So it's really good to see that they're being competitive. And yeah, I keep waiting for the fall off, but I think it's really going to have to wait to the key players like Kucherov and Vasilevsky and whatnot finally retire or whatever happens there. But ultimately, like the Panthers, they are turning it on at good time to solidify themselves in the Atlantic. That is deadly. Last 3 teams we've talked about have been the Atlantic teams. So
Yeah, well, exactly. And the funniest thing is, it wouldn't surprise me if we see Florida finish in a wild card spot, but the wild card spot that plays the Metro first team, and then Florida goes on to beat the Metro. They go into the Metro. Tampa make the top the Eastern Conference final, and then Florida make the Eastern Conference final, and we have a Florida Tampa Eastern Conference final. The way
that
these
may as well be
Florida
like
teams
the
have been
Stanley
over the
Cup
last.
final at that point. Jeez, that's a good game.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, if that was an Eastern Conference final, that would be my Stanley Cup final. That
Yeah.
would be absolutely unreal. I think that would be an incredible series. All right, 6 for me. I have the New York Islanders.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, like I mean, again, similar to Philadelphia Flyers, I just did. This was a team I expected to see here. Like the team that they've got, the aging team they've got, I get they got Schaefer, but it's not a team that I expect to be a playoff team, and they're absolutely killing it at the moment. They're playing their system similar to Philly. They're just playing a system they know works. Their defense first, and then they go from there, and it's working for them, and it's got them as one of the best teams in the league at the moment. They get a 2-1 win against the Devils, and then a 2-0 win against the Rangers. Both division rivals, both good defensive games, and they only concede 1 goal for the week. Like, what more can you ask for from this team?
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing it for seasons now where they play well defensively, like well structured. Goal
Mm,
scoring was always a big problem for them, but it doesn't seem to be as big of an issue right now. Um,
yeah,
and that's why, yeah, they're pretty high up. On to 4, another team in this vicinity, Carolina Hurricanes.
yeah, same here.
So it's been for at least for me the last 6 teams I've been on the East, and this team's just yeah putting along, consistently putting along, always competitive. Uh, they lose 5-2 to Florida at the start of the week, and then they 5-2 win against Detroit. So 2 really tough teams that we mentioned in the top 10. They go 500. They're 6-3-1 last 10. It's like the fifth in goal differential. It's yeah, it's just a team that just seems to keep doing the right things consistently. They kind of seem to be running around like 600, not 500, for like the whole season. And I feel like they've sat fourth for me for probably the last month or so now, just consistently.
Yeah, I was actually gonna have a look at that. They have been fourth for me. This is the 5th week straight,
That
and for
that doesn't surprise
you,
me.
it's also the 5th week straight. We have
Yeah,
had them there. Like
which
they are the
which isn't
pinnacle.
good for them because you don't want to finish fourth because that's an Eastern Conference knockout, and
Hmm.
that's what they keep doing. So
Yeah,
you want to jump into that top 2 for Carolina.
yeah. 100%. All right. Number 3 for me, not moving, the Minnesota Wild.
I'll have to see if I made any moves, and no, I did not.
It's groundbreaking,
No,
guys. Jaden
I
contemplated,
I had a
contemplated.
thought
Look,
and then it quickly disappeared.
so did I, but Minnesota didn't really have a great week. They lose 1-5 to Colorado Avalanche. They lose 2-3 to Nashville Predators in OT, and then they get a 4-3 win against the Winnipeg Jets today. So
In
yeah,
OT.
not yeah, in OT as well. So like the Colorado loss is bad, but I think it's the fact that Nashville have been on a heater, but that's a team you should be beating. The Jets are you do win, but it's probably a team you should be winning in regulation. Um, but again, they take 3 points on the week. They go 500. I'm not too concerned.
Nah, nah. It was a slight backtrack, but it's a
Mm.
little bit too early, and they're still competitive. Where I couldn't, do any drastic measures. On
Yeah.
to number two, no move, Dallas.
Are you sure? I I
Are you
I don't
sure?
know, man.
Are you sure?
are,
Are you sure?
are you sure? Colorado number one again.
So yeah, 5-1 win against Toronto, OT against Detroit, and lose that game, and then shootout loss against Chicago. So competitive in all games. A bit disappointing on the Chicago one, but 6-2-2 in the last 10. Second in goal differential. If it wasn't for Colorado, they would be number one. If they weren't superhumans, and
Hmm.
it was an easier week, especially considering some of the teams we've talked about previously. But I still, like I said, competitive every week. They're really hard to beat. They play a decent tic tac toe system in the forward offense that kind of dismantles defenses sometimes, which is good to watch. But yeah, just going through the motions, same as Carolina at this point. I feel like they're just going through the motions and trying to be. They're sitting around 600 and just going to flatline there for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's unreal. The craziest thing I think about this top three, is I know Minnesota are close-ish to Carolina, but there's 8 points between Dallas and Carolina. There's 14 points between Colorado and Carolina.
Mm.
Like these top Dallas and Colorado are miles above everyone else at the moment. But the Wild, considering how their start was, the fact that they are so far ahead of everyone else with how poor their start was, just shows you. I think these three teams are in a completely different, um, like they're in a league of their own right now. I think you got these three, then you got Carolina in like they're on their own, and then it's like everyone else. Um,
Sound different. I'd throw
it's insane.
Carolina in there in the four, just because of the
In the
consistency.
four,
Yeah, just because consistency.
yeah,
It's the four teams that have been in the top 10, like even top five, you could probably say, like for majority of the
mm,
season. No, obviously no
all season.
Minnesota did it, but yeah, all season. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, they seem the ones that just like, yeah, we're gonna coast it to playoffs, and then playoffs are playoffs.
yeah,
Uh,
they just get it done. Well, speaking of number one,
are you
this
sure?
is eight.
Are you sure?
Mate, I want to drop them because this has been 8 weeks in a row, and this is ridiculous.
Boo,
You're
it's
not allowed to
boring.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what have we got to talk
It's
about?
when people
The
start
top
hating
four.
good players or like really good teams because they're successful for so long. It's like change it up. It
Yeah,
gets boring.
the top four has been the same for like the last 4 weeks. Can we get some just difference, just
We need some
something
young
happen?
blood in there.
Um,
Come on, Buffalo.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Buffalo keep going, they
I mean,
might find
it
themselves.
probably could be a week away at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now Buffalo's probably the one pegged to break into this top four. Um, but yeah, I mean, what do you say about Colorado? Like they just keep on doing Colorado things. They come up against a good Minnesota Wild team. They beat them 5-1. Um, they beat Utah Mammoth 1-0 and then they win 6-5 in shootout against Vegas today. So they're doing it in different ways as well. They can win tight games. They can blow teams away. They can get it done in extra time if they need to do. Like it just doesn't matter what it is. This Colorado team can they just know how to win. Like they got 28 wins on the season. Like
Yeah.
28 wins on the season already. We're only 37 games in. Like they just know how to win. This team, I don't know what it is. I don't know if Ethan McKinnon has just gone these last few years of us not winning the cup has pissed me right off, and he's just gone to another level. Because we know he's a freak. We know he's that mental game of he is so driven and he's so focused, but he's just
Yeah.
something's clicked, and this team is just they're on this year, and it's hard to see who's going to beat
No,
them.
I think it's just a team that's been well built. Obviously you get lucky with drafts and stuff like getting McCarr, McKinnon's, all that stuff. Like, but that's what builds a franchise.
Mhm,
But it's just well built. Like, I consider there's three factors, maybe four, if you want to consider goaltending. But speed, goal scoring, and defending. That's
mhm,
that's pretty much the three factors you need to be like a top, top five team. They've got all of them. They've got some of the best players in the league, in the world, in all departments of that. Um, and then goaltending, they had goaltending problems even when they won the cup. But uh, when they had goaltending problems, they did something and they changed it up and got different goaltending.
mhm.
We had Edmonton for years about it, and then they finally changed goaltending. Like they've been faster to edit where they've been lacking. I think, and it was at the bottom
Yeah,
end, and then they changed that, and they changed again this season, and that's why it works. The faster
yeah.
moving teams seem to stay at the top, and that's why Vegas is at the top. So Colorado's at the top. Dallas has
They're
done it.
ruthless.
Carolina's done it. Um, yeah, if you're more ruthless and you try and build a cup contending team every year, you're going to be a contending team. And
Yeah, I mean, look
the
what they
teams that
did
do
with
the slow
Rantanen.
rebuild struggle.
Yeah,
I
look,
feel.
they didn't hesitate with Rantanen. They just went, nah, we need to get rid of Rantanen. Got rid of him.
Hmm.
And a lot of people were like, oh, that was rash, you know. Marty Nature's like, you're going to end up signing him to basically the same as Rantanen. Not quite, but um, you look at it now, and Marty Natures is killing it for Colorado. Like, I don't think Colorado regret getting rid of Rantanen one bit. Um, and it was a trade at the time where everyone was like, "What the fuck? Like, have things really gotten this bad that they had to trade Rantanen out?" But they're just a cutthroat team. They know what it takes
Yeah,
to win and get it done, and that's what they're doing.
yeah.
Like,
But some of the
yeah,
best GMs are on the top 10 list, like here, like Colorado, Dallas, I'd maybe throw Carolina in there, Tampa,
mhm.
Florida. Like it is a consistent trend where good
Mhm.
GMs and your team's at the top of the board.
Result into good teams.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
100%.
that's where it starts, top management, and then it trickles down. And yeah, but please, someone knock them out of the top spot, please. Want to see something different. But no offense, Colorado. You can try be good in playoffs. How about
Yeah,
that?
we'll let you win the cup, but just you can't stay top.
Just slide us $10. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below what you think of our power rankings, and yeah, let us know what team you support. But till next time, we'll catch you guys.
bye guys.